Hi, everybody. Uh, I was just testing the hot dogs for tomorrow. Didn't quite get done before we started on the air here. Sorry. Uh, I'll put this down here for later. So anyway, hey, today is Tuesday, and that means it's story time. I have a story today for you. Uh, if you were uh, following, or if you ever saw any of our probing Proverbs that Janet and I were doing, that we finished last week, uh, then one of the things we kind of challenged people to do was to find all the times in Proverbs where it said, fear of the Lord, the fear of the Lord. And I want to talk about that today for story time. Proverbs 1, verse 7, it says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Two explorers were on a jungle safari when they suddenly came upon a ferocious-looking lion. It jumped out in front of them. Keep calm, the first explorer said. Remember what we read in that book on wild animals. If you stand perfectly still and look the animal in the eyes, then he will turn and run. Sure, replied his companion. You've read the book, and I've read the book, but I don't think the lion read the book. Okay, well, the word fear that's used here is phobia. Phobia. It means to fear, to tremble, or to be afraid. The idea of fear in the Bible is used, though, in two different ways. The first is the idea of being afraid. You either run away or you stay and fight. The second idea of fear is that it is caused by a sense of awe, a sense of respect, a sense of reverence for God or for someone else who may be important to you. And that's the kind that we're talking about in Proverbs, and that's the kind that our verse, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, is talking about. 5-year-old Johnny was in the kitchen as his mother made supper. She asked him to go into the pantry and get her a can of tomato soup, but he didn't want to go in the pantry all alone. He said, "It's dark in there, and I'm scared." She asked again, and he then finally she said, "Well, it's okay. Jesus will be with you." Johnny walked hesitantly to the pantry door, slowly opened it, peeked inside, saw that it was dark, and started to leave when all at once an idea came. He said, "Jesus, if you're in there, would you please hand me a can of tomato soup?" Well, there again is an example of fear. You know, there are many kinds of fears or phobias. Claustrophobia is the fear of closed places. Acrophobia is the fear of heights. Arachnophobia is the fear of spiders. Nectrophobia is the fear of the dark. Pyrophobia is the fear of fire. Aquaphobia is the fear of water. And odontophobia is the fear of your dentist. I suppose we all have that from time to time. Neophobia is the fear of change. And I think that we're all dealing with that one right now because this COVID-19 stuff has caused us to have to make some changes that we didn't like. We're distancing, we're wearing masks, we're doing things that, just aren't too pleasant, to be honest, but we have to do them. So We just have to get over this fear. Well, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Fear is one of the major topics in the book of Proverbs. In fact, the phrase, the fear of the Lord, is in Proverbs 16 times. And in those occasions, it means an awe, a respect, a reverent fear for God. And when we have that, then we can better understand His power, His greatness. For the most part, we have lost respect for God, and we have lost this fear of God in our country today, and I think even in our churches. We're kind of like the little boy who was afraid during a violent thunderstorm. His mother came into his bedroom to tuck him into bed, and as she was about to turn out the light, he asked this question with trembling lips. "Mommy, will you sleep with me tonight? I'm scared." To that, Mom replied, "I'm sorry, dear, I can't do that. I have to go sleep with your daddy." After a short silence, the mother heard the boy say as she was leaving the room, "The big sissy." All right, well, let me share with you the 16 times that the fear of the Lord is found in Proverbs. We've read verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Verse 29 of chapter 1, they didn't choose the fear of the Lord. Chapter 2, verse 5, you will discern the fear of the Lord. Verse 7 of chapter 3, fear the Lord and turn away from evil. Chapter 8, verse 13, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Chapter 9, verse 10, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Chapter 10, verse 27, the fear of the Lord prolongs life. Chapter 14, verse 26, in the fear of the Lord there is strong confidence. Chapter 14, verse 27, the fear of the Lord is a fountain of life. Chapter 15, verse 16, better is a little with the fear of the Lord than a lot without the fear of the Lord. Chapter 15, verse 33, the fear of the Lord is the instruction for wisdom. Chapter 16, verse 6, by the ear of the Lord one keeps away from, by the fear of the Lord one keeps away from evil. Chapter 19, verse 23, the fear of the Lord leads to life. Chapter 22, verse 4, the reward of the fear of the Lord is riches, honor, and long life. In chapter 23, verse 17, live in the fear of the Lord always. Chapter 24, verse 21, fear the Lord and the King. I can remember back to my high school days. In fact, the day before the senior prom, I suppose it was the administration, I don't really know who did it, but they parked a wrecked and mangled up car strategically placed in front of the school building so that we would all get the message of the danger of drinking and driving. Now, I didn't ever drink. I did drive. I still drive, and I still don't drink. But the idea was to put the fear of what could happen if you aren't careful. And senior prom was one of those occasions where that could possibly happen. So fear can play an important part in helping us to be cautious and careful. I suppose having a fear that you might catch, this virus can make us practice more safety things than we normally might do. Might make us wash our hands a few more times. Might make us put that mask on when we don't really want to, just so we can avoid a world of pain and hurt. So having a fear of the Lord is a good thing. Now, all the verses that we've looked at so far have been in the Old Testament and really in Proverbs. Let me give you one here as we finish up from the New Testament. It's 1 John 4, verse 18. It says this: "Love casts out fear." And so the more we love God and the more we trust Him, the less fear we will have. Let me give you one more from the New Testament. Hebrews 10:31. It warns us that it's a terrible thing to fall into the hands of an angry God. Now think about that. What is it that you might do that would make God angry with you? If there are some things in your life that might make God angry at you, well, you can do something about that. You can change your behavior, change your attitude. You can choose to follow God more closely. All right, well, that's all for today, all the story time for today. Just a reminder for our young at heart and encouraging others, tomorrow, 11:30, we're having drive-by hot dog and chips. So one of the things you can do, you can come early if you want, park in the parking lot. You can even get out of your car as long as you practice social distancing and visit and fellowship with one another. That's okay. Mike said so. Around here, what Mike says is pretty important, so we go by what Mike says. And he has a reason to say that because he's staying up on what the state says and all that, and he loves his sheep, and he wouldn't tell us anything that isn't right. So come out early if you want, gather in the parking lot, and we'll be passing out hot dogs and chips to you. No ketchup, no mustard, no mayonnaise, no relish. You'll have to provide that for yourself. And we'll give you a bag of chips, and you can enjoy those in the parking lot, or you can take them home and eat them there. All right. Have a great day today, and we'll see you tomorrow maybe if you're a young at heart or encouraging others. So long.